Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Mediocre at Breast. I'm Sydney,
And I'm Becca.
and we can't wait to hang out with y'all. Hi,
Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I am so glad we're finally doing this. We've talked about it for a solid 3 weeks, and I'm so glad it actually came to fruition. There's so many things like as a mom you dream of, or like especially that first year of life. Our kids are both under the age of 2, of doing for yourself, for your kids, the whole you're willing to die for them, but will you live? And will you do something you're proud of? And I think starting a creative outlet for us is going to be huge. Also, having an hour a week to sit down and talk without our kids. What a blessing. How have you been?
I'm good. I just started on Brupopen. I'm on day 2 because my brain got a little too silly. So it does make you like a little bit, yeah.
Is that the generic word for Lexapro?
No, it's the generic Wellbutrin. You've been on it.
Wellbutrin. Yeah.
You were on it when I was pregnant, and I was on it when I was pregnant. Also, my doctor prescribed it to me.
I cold turkeyed antidepressants. And in a way, I'm like, yeah, I got through it. Hardest thing I've ever done. Brain zaps are wild. I was literally working. We work at a restaurant, so I have to be on. I have to be ready to talk to anybody about anything and remember a whole menu, stuff like that. Thank God the menu hasn't changed in 40 years or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was really hard, like to get off of that. I felt like was wild. And then a month later I was pregnant, and that's why I even said any of this. How are you feeling day 2? I know about like a week it'll take.
I feel okay. I like wasn't able to feel emotion for a little bit. Obviously I'm happy and I have like a bunch of things that bring me joy, but emotions that I just had to like sit with. I don't know. Like I couldn't fully feel them, and I don't know if that's a good reason to get on it, but I couldn't feel
like I mean
the full range of my emotions. But day 2's been cool. I sat outside earlier and the weather's been beautiful. So I meditated while Niall napped. He took a 3-hour nap today. So he naps at like normal times. Eventually, like that does happen. So
yeah.
But I feel good. I'm very happy to be here. I'm honored that you asked me to do this with you. You are one of the funniest people that I know, and you're so methodical. And
to me, it was a no-brainer to do it with you.
Yeah, you're hilarious. So,
well, thank you so much. We're both horrible at taking compliments. But we're going to work on it, just like we're going to work on our new creative outlet together.
I'm going to try to keep the mouth noises like as little as possible.
Thanks for being here with us, y'all, as we work through this cool new part of our lives. Okay. What is it? ASMR?
Yeah.
Not a fan. A lot of sensory issues.
Yeah. Okay. I'm back.
Well, it sounds like a pretty good day.
Yeah.
Niall is almost 2.
Yeah, he'll be 2 next month.
Okay. I have a 14-month-old. His name is Lennon, for those who may not know that. We reign from Texas. And we're just 2 new moms. We work at a restaurant that is predominantly, Southern union workers. It's literally on the same road as so many chemical plants. That is this city's bread and butter, is these chemical plant workers, and they pay our rent, and we are so appreciative of them. But I just went back to work September 1st. Becca's been back, and she was kind of like my, the little good angel that sits on your shoulder and is like, come back to work, you'll get out of the house, sense of freedom, fiscally and physically from baby. And it's been good so far. I just do the weekends and nothing too overwhelming. I'm still breastfeeding, so I get to, get my little pump break, no smoke break for Sid. Sometimes I have to decide, am I going to pump or go to the bathroom with a, fast paced job? But I like where I'm at right now with that. That's my new thing I've started, I guess, is work. And it's an outlet, but also 1,000% my job at home is way harder. So it is like I could do it, it's like riding a bicycle. That's what they always say serving's like. How long have you been serving?
I've been serving for over 10 years.
I think that so I started at Chili's whenever I was in high school. Becca actually trained me my first week at the restaurant. And that's also where I met one of your really good friends and now my really good friend, Izzy. And
Friend of the pod.
super good friend of the pod. No greater friend of the pod, honestly.
Number one fan for sure.
Yes. And she was one of the only person that after the shift, you like handed me $10 and you were like, you did so good. And I'm like, no, I get paid hourly for this. Like, we don't got to do this. And I'd never like seen that kindness in the like restaurant industry, like $10 or, whatever amount. It was just like, oh, wow. It was the gesture. And we were in section 14. Not the viewers or anyone's going to know what that is, but it doesn't exist anymore. COVID like made this restaurant go inside out quite literally. And it was a really hard job to start at. It was 6 years ago for me, 6 or 7. I don't know. I was 20 and it was a very intimidating environment to start in. So having this, new colleague actually, show that kindness while training me, you could be like, oh gosh, she's so dumb. Look at her carry that tray and that silly little ponytail. My hair was so short back then.
You had just cut it.
It was damn near embarrassing. Like it was a pretty bad chop. So I was already starting extremely vulnerable. And then coming back, I came back and forth 3 times and we'll kind of get into that, those reasons why. But today's just kind of like an about us. And so y'all can like get to know who we are as we go forward, talking about mom stuff. And what do you remember about that day? Do you remember anything that I haven't said?
No, it was just a normal day. You were very serious and like very, very dark. Like your sense of humor was very dark. And you were talking about your partner you were with at the time. And you were like, yeah, I'm the one, and like I have all the personality, but like it was like deadpan, like
I hope that person never watches this. but honestly, they had to know.
Yeah, but I just thought it was so funny. And you have a huge personality and like you love to dance.
I was terrified.
But you were just like, didn't really say much and your face just looked like this. And you were like, I have like the best personality. And I was like, all right, girl.
And I probably had just the worst anxiety actually. And was just like trying to be like, I'm usually better. I'm sorry.
No,
but not like apologetically. I don't know.
I know that I can be very monotone as well. So I do remember like us having like a conversation and like the entire thing just sounded dead. And like we just like looked at each other and we're like, this is fun, right? Like we're
Yeah. 7 years ago, we shouldn't have started a podcast. But now that we've gone through enough trauma together and apart, we can sit here and just chat about it and bask in it. And that was August. And then I turned 21 and then we started hanging out. But that's not what we're going to talk about We're not going to talk about me turning 21. Becca had a birthday.
Yeah, I did have a birthday. I've had a couple of those, and
Becca then had a birthday, and I'm still pretty new to the gang, but I'm also 21 now, so I'm like, I'm gonna come to these things that I get invited to, right? And I met a lot of your friends.
I'm gonna say I did not think that many people liked me, and like that was my downfall for the night. Was like I didn't know that many people were gonna show up and buy me drinks. Like
I didn't know that you were so committed to jiu-jitsu
yeah,
at that time. Actually,
yeah.
that was my downfall. And
Jesus Christ.
Becca has a few beverages, whatever. That's beside the point. It's her birthday, but she then wants to show these friends that I'm meeting for the first time.
They also did jujitsu. The ones that you're talking about specifically.
They all
So they were
okay.
jujitsu friends.
So you had something to prove. Kind of. Like that drunk something to prove.
So this guy came in to teach class, and like he's a badass, and like he's never really like he doesn't really teach.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of an honor, and he would do like he would call it like jailhouse jujitsu. Like, don't use this in competition, but like if you're ever in a serious situation where your life is threatened, like, but we don't do this to our friends. And like I thought it was so cool, and they weren't there, and like they're not going to learn this because he doesn't come and teach.
Yeah.
And like they weren't there. So I was like super excited. And like I had already been taking like shots, and I had pre-gamed before. Like I was a complete shit show. But at this point, I still have memories. Like, and I did end up getting kicked out of a few bars towards the end of the night. And then like I have a story about like after that as well. But yeah, they all did jujitsu, but there was a reason I was showing them. I thought it was really cool, and I knew that they would also think that it was cool as well.
I mean, it was cool. If I was like a plastic dummy or whatever.
Mhm.
But I mean, not that even, I mean, like obviously I've fully recovered, but she kicked my ass in this bar. And I was just like, happy birthday to you.
Can we stand up really quick just so like if people don't know our size difference? Yeah. So
I don't know if that
I was so drunk. I'm so sorry. And you're
fully showed them, but
you're
I am
such a trooper.
I am 5 flat, 110 pounds on a good day. Breastfeeding has absolutely depleted any weight gain I was able to get during pregnancy. And I don't think I was literally telling Tommy earlier, he was like, how tall is she for these mics? And I was like, she's like maybe an inch taller than me.
Mm-mm.
Really?
No, I'm a little taller than 5'5".
Oh my God.
But not quite 5'6".
Well,
so almost half a foot.
Well,
and I am not 110 pounds.
To me, I look her straight in the eye every time we talk.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you don't have to do that in order to be the same height. And I was like, oh, well, maybe you're right.
That's the autism that I just like need to like make dead eye contact. So that way, I'm a person.
Yes, you do. You do solid eye contact.
How does that make eye contact with the camera?
How does that work for like your tables?
I just look at them, and like normally people like I feel like most of my tables like me. I get a lot of compliments. I actually like when we're slow. I know that like that's not like a super popular opinion because everyone's like, I'm not making any money.
Oh, yeah.
But on days that like nobody's coming in, I just talk, and I'll just like be like, oh my God, like where are you guys coming from? Like, have you ever been here before? Yeah. And then like I talk about my baby all the time.
Yeah, that's actually when I tell people I have a kid, they're like, you're not 12?
Yeah.
They're like, we were going to call someone about child labor laws.
Yeah.
We had no idea you were even 18. I was like, okay.
But I can tell when people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And like, I don't like, I try not to do that.
I really was just aiming towards asking you or like seeing if you'll give an example of your server voice and your mom voice. Are they different or the same?
They're very different. My mom voice, you heard it earlier when I was playing, and it's like, wow, good job, buddy. Like I try to like
good throw.
Honestly, I do. That's how I talk to men. Is like You're doing so good, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you for not throwing that at my head.
They need that direct direction.
Yeah, but and then my server voice is hey, how are you guys doing? My name's Rebecca, and I'll be taking care of you. Like that way they know, like, oh, she sounds like kind of stupid. And I'll be like, sometimes I am, yes.
I feel like I'm absolutely insane.
Please show me.
I mean, it's different with every table. That's why I feel like I'm insane.
I want to be a baby first.
Like I'm playing a bit. I don't think I feel like if there's a baby at the table, I don't always acknowledge it. Is that bad? Because I'll do this. Mom, is it okay if they blah blah blah? That's if they're ordering for themselves, because they'll just blurt out shrimp, and you're like, do they have a shellfish allergy? Like, I look at mom and I'm like, what's up? So I guess that'll stop things, because I'm like, I'm that mom that I would like want, to make sure that the kid didn't just blurt something out. So I'm like, that's like, I guess the helicopter in me coming out. But yeah, I later on, I'll be like, here's your catfish or whatever to the little kid. Plate's hot. Don't touch. Let mom cut it or whatever I think the mom's going to do. Or I'll be like, do you want me to put this even in front of them at all? Depending on their age. Because if it was Lennon, I'd be like, do not give that kid a catfish. It'll go on the floor.
I do like talking to them like they're really sophisticated adults. And like, I'll be like, wow, oh my God. Like I've personally never thought of it that way. And let me play devil's advocate here. But like, I just don't fully agree with you. And then they'll be like, at least I have like a 2-year-old. So he knows like a couple words and he's really into counting. So then my baby would be like 2. And I'll be like, Jesus, I can't believe you just said that to me right now. Like during Women's History Month. Oh my God. Like,
yes, I do. I love the way you talk to Niall. I love your dialogue. I feel like I'm such, like, circling back around to the helicopter mom. That is something I definitely admire about you. Like, for example, we were at Play Space the other day, and
sponsor us.
It was a pretty cool place. It was our first time. And I ordered Lennon and I some pizza to share. And I looked at you and I was like, is it bad? Because baby led weaning and all those freaking apps and stuff, they're like, your kids need to learn how to take bites and pieces off. And I get so hyper focused on that. And my anxiety is like, I'm doing it wrong, whatever. Like, I'm one of those people where if I'm doing good in one area, that means I need to start working really hard in another area. So I'm like hyper focused on him not being able to just grab pizza and rip it like any other baby or something. He has to I have to like hand him bites. I don't know if he just doesn't want to touch it. It's messy. I don't know. But he won't, anything I do, it has to be a bite that I hand him or put it down. I could put it down and he'll grab it. And you looked at me and you were like, I don't think it matters. And I was like, wow, that's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. And I don't know if on your Instagram, you also have that like slew of an algorithm of you're not feeding your kid right. And not even to mention, like, I'm a huge, everyone knows this. Everybody, when I say this, is going to be like, ugh, I'm a huge ingredient and dye person, mom. But my whole household has changed for it. Therefore, I am going to buckle down on it when I can. And that has given me so much anxiety. I don't know what to feed my kid half the time. I'm like, there's nothing in America you can feed your kid. And I wish I never knew about things like glyphosate. And, everyone has given their kids Cheerios before, but now I have this ticking in my brain that's like, why would you do it if you know better? And not know better, but like, that's just what your brain is going to tell you. Like, find another option, because they're out there, but you got to find it. And that's another anxiety. So you simply just saying, I don't think it matters. I was like, wow, I breathed for like 30 seconds and I went on to the other thing to freak out about. Thank you.
I think so. Lennon just turned 1. Like that just happened. So I think your anxiety about him still like eating whole foods, like that's completely a normal thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that like you're blowing that out of proportion. I think that's probably something that all parents deal with is you don't want them to choke. And choking is also like it's silent. So if they're coughing, they're good. Like they're breathing. There's an airway. But if they choke, like it's if you're not paying attention and like he's still learning to do it on his own. So I think that like I think I don't think you're wrong for freaking out about that. He will eventually get it. You know what I mean?
Also worried about, is he only going to want bite-sized things for the rest of his life and not be at a, he's going to be at a pizza party and kids are all like, eating their pizzas like, oh, this is fine. And he's like looking at me like, Mom, you haven't cut up my pizza yet. And I guess that's socially you worry about them, but he's also 14 months. So you're like, geez, Louise.
Dude, he's the coolest guy.
It doesn't matter.
He's such a cool guy.
He's pretty chill.
Yeah.
But also deaf not. You know what I mean?
No, he is a baby. So
yeah, he's definitely still a baby. He's a huge mama's boy, which is awesome. And also like for the first year, nobody else was ever able to put him to sleep. And then, so going back to Instagram and algorithms, everyone wants to tell you how your kid's going to sleep. Nobody told me before I had a baby that everyone's going to care about how long he's sleeping. If he's going to wake up in the middle of the night. For the record, everyone, my kid still wakes up at least 7 times a night. I'm still not sleeping through the night. But you know what? The average adult human wakes up in the middle of the night and has to go to the bathroom, gets a drink of water. So whatever he'll either roll around, I pat his back, we co-sleep. These are all probably triggering words to some people.
I also like I co-slept for my sanity. But I do understand like the dangers of it and everything. And like I've heard all of once it got to a point that he was like rolling and being crazy, I was like, all right, guy, like now you gotta go. Like
really, we're still fighting the good fight. I wake up and he's so long. Like I am far too short to have a 14-month-old baby that is like, when we lay side by side, he's like past my knee. And I'm like, dang, it's like already sleeping with, he's a toddler. Today I was watching him walk around and I was like, that's a freaking toddler. He's huge. When did that happen? It's the worst and the best, as they say.
So I breastfed for 13 months. Like I know that you want to do it for 2 years and I fully like applaud you, and anyone who just breastfeeds at all, it's very beautiful. You bond so much, like you are giving them oxytocin and your body's getting oxytocin. So like there's just this like magic that's happening in between you guys and it's beautiful. But like, God, you lose all body autonomy. Like you are no longer your own person. You are a food source. And it is mentally and physically, because how many calories? It's like close to 1,000. I may be wrong. I don't know. Well, we can fact check that later.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah. But you're burning so many calories. Like
I literally
just day to day,
like keep up.
Baseline.
It's really hard. At least I'm not like one of those that's like, I'm so hungry all the time. I feel hungry just like the normal person. I need myself to like Tommy will have protein shakes and stuff throughout the day. I need to like figure out a brand myself that I'm into. But once again, ingredients freak me out. So I'm gonna have to go through everything, vet it out, stuff like that. Before I feel comfortable putting something in my body, every single day, committing to it. But hey, y'all, I have no problem with Starbucks. That's my 80-20 rule. Loves Starbucks. Lennon loves the green straws from Starbucks. They rock his little world.
What a cool guy.
He loves to pull it out of the wrapper. He's like it's a sword. Super cool. Yeah, I plan to breastfeed for hopefully 2 years. We'll see.
You are a rock star.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So far, there's no end in sight on his end for sure. But in speaking about like body autonomy, it's really hard to teach body autonomy for your child
Mhm.
while giving yours up completely to them. Do you feel like did you have a hard time with that? Like weaning is going to be something I'm going to lean on you probably for advice and everything. I dread it.
So, Niall has an aunt named Jessie, if you're watching What's Up. She breastfed all 3 of her kids for over 2 years. Like, I remember being pregnant and I was like, I'm gonna try to breastfeed, but like, I don't know. And she's like, no, she's like, don't try. She was like, just do it. She was like, just do it and don't give up. And like anyone who can't breastfeed and like tried, I'm sorry, this is like no diss to you. Like everyone's on their own journey. This was because it's so hard, especially like at first, because you're only making the colostrum and then like it takes a while for your milk to kick in.
And the nurses are always like, they're losing weight.
Yeah. And like you just want your baby to be fed.
Yeah.
So like if they're not getting it, then you're obviously worried and you're like, I can't do this. Like I am gonna switch to formula because like it is very similar now. Like there are like we were talking about the oxytocin and like there are things that you're not gonna get. But
yeah, because
like,
it would just benefit baby.
Yeah, but I understand anyone who chose not to like breastfeed. For me personally, it's something after talking to her, she was like, just do it. And like just researching, I was like, okay, this is something that I'm gonna do. And luckily, Niall loved it. Like he was like, that was his shit.
Oh yeah.
Like he would just like all the time. And my baby is huge. He's in the 90th percentile. And like he is like he rolled in the hospital. Like we were talking about eating earlier. This man like got like he was pretty much born with teeth. Like it didn't take that long. Like I feel like I didn't get a baby. I just got this little mutant, like this little D1 athlete.
You
like
said that you felt like you didn't get the baby experience
No.
or the newborn experience.
Yeah, I have a niece that's a month younger than Niall, and like
she's a bit more graceful with the aging. Not so sudden.
Yeah, she like I was able to hold her and I nannied her for a year. Like I wasn't working, I was a stay-at-home mom. So it was a way for me to make extra money and they're cousins. So like they got to like spend all that time together. But
yeah,
I would just like baby her and play with her hair. And she was like a little bit slower to crawling.
Niall's over there doing his taxes.
Yeah, dude, he does bleachers for fun. Like, and I'm not joking. Like if we go to the park, like he will literally just run up and down. Like he planks, like he's doing handstands. Like he can climb and I am all for it.
Yeah,
like
web climber too.
Yeah, I am I'm trying to nourish all that part of him.
That's literally another thing that I like value so much, like watching that relationship, because once again, and I don't mean to be like, I'm a neurotic mess, but I'm a helicopter parent. Dude, at this age, you have to be. I walked by Lennon's playroom the other day. He was standing on top of a toy, on top of a stool, and he was like, barely bouncing. I saved his actual life walking by. And I was like, how he pulled all of that stuff to create that. He just want to get a little higher in the air. He wasn't going towards anything.
Wow, an engineer for sure. Love that guy, dude. He's so cool.
With a death wish.
Yeah.
An engineer with a death wish.
But the advice, so Jessie, what she told me was what she would do whenever she was done breastfeeding is she would go by herself and just take a little 2-day vacation, maybe 3 days.
So many moms have told me, like, take a trip.
And it will be really good for you. My breasts were like engorged, dude. I actually went to a rave. So like I'm like wearing like a little sports bra and like I just remember like people going up to me.
So you're slaying.
Yeah, pretty much. And, like, this girl just went up to me. She's like, "Your tits are amazing." And I'm like, "Thank you." I'm like breastfeeding. And she was like, "Shout out to the baby." And I was like, "Thanks, girl.
You're like,
Appreciate it."
miss him.
But it was so painful. And I've had to like milk myself. It's called hand expressing for anyone, but I've had to milk myself into bottles and they just get like hard as rocks and they're super painful. But yeah, I went out of town for 3 days with one of my friends. And when I came back, he didn't care at all. Like there was just like, I'm obviously still mom, but like it's like he looked for a second, but then he was like, "No, I'm good. Like I know how to drink out of a bottle now." So
Love that. Lennon never drank out of a bottle.
oh, he didn't. Like
Yeah.
and like I hope that yours is like
That
just
also does so much to you, being, whenever you have a baby that
with
only
teeth.
wants it out of the tap and with teeth, I guess. I've been brutally bit before, but that's besides the point. Having to be there every time they are hungry, like, takes away so much of, I mean, motherhood already, you're sacrificing so much freedoms, whatever. Um, but the body autonomy, like, I am so checked out before 9 a.m. because I have been literally feeding all night, sleeping crazy. You know, my chiropractor is the best. She's going to be on here. Can't wait. Her name's Dr. Lauren Daniels. She'll be on here very soon to chat with us. And I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. You're doing great.
And
I love listening to you talk.
and my back just hurt all the time. Every time they take a nap, babies take like 5 naps a day, if y'all don't know this, at like under a year. So this was like, I felt like I spent a whole year in the bedroom or just in these 4 walls.
And you want to do stuff while they're napping. Like you don't like as tired as you are.
Yes, contact naps are
Yeah.
not helpful to that.
You want to like just have a moment to yourself. Like there are things like, yeah, both partners can help with the dishes, like food, all that. But there's just like sometimes you just want to like sit and just like
Not be touched.
yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Or, you just for a little bit, not even like, by your partner or whatever. I'm just saying, like, just not being needed in that way, because it's such a dire way to be needed. Food, and like,
oh, also just so you know, like my like boobs were huge, and I am just now. I stopped breastfeeding in January. I like New Year's Day was like whenever I stopped. And I am still recovering from that back pain. Like I'm like I started doing calisthenics. So like my back is like starting to like strengthen again, but like my back is still being almost a year later, just still being in pain. So it does get better. Like they will go down. I'm still lactating, y'all. So
and I guess circling back to
I did the Kennedy fingers. That's not Kennedy, that's
the
Nixon.
is it? I don't know. I'm horrible with politics, but
Shout
out RFK. I think he might be doing something in this world if they let him, But circling back around to jiu-jitsu, I guess let everyone know, are you still doing jiu-jitsu? We obviously are not hanging out at bars anymore, showing our best moves to people.
No. Not doing that anymore.
We had kids, 5 years after this? So yeah. And you were in and out of the restaurant as well, right?
Yes. I would love to be back in jiu-jitsu. I definitely plan on going back sooner rather than later, possibly next month. I did go back while I was still breastfeeding, and I dislocated my knee in actually right before I left to go to that rave. So I was actually on the rave like in crutches with like my engorged titty. So it was great.
The
awesome.
commitment.
But my knee, if you guys can see, your knee usually bends this way. My knee went that way. So it kind of just like popped out of place. And then it was like, hello, just kidding. So then it went back into place. And I was I cannot remember the name of the move, but I'll tell you if it wasn't an Osotogari, was it? It was a drop Nagi, but pretty much to set up for it, like you want to push the person and then get their reaction. So I was working with someone, and then the coach came up to me and he's like, Rebecca, like you're not reacting. Like, why are you reacting weird? And I'm like, what? And he pushed me to see how I would react, and like I wasn't expecting it. I just like looked at him, and like normally if someone's coming at you, you kind of adjust your stance. You know what I mean? But I'm just like standing up, like, what's he doing? And that happened, and I was like, "Yo, my knee just popped out of place." And I remember him like looking at me. He was like, "Does that normally happen?" And I'm like, "No." Like, and I couldn't move for a little bit. And then eventually, like, I got up, and I had already the gym that I chose was like a little bit further away because it was like a really reputable gym. So I was like, "This is where I want to train." So I had already drove like the 40 minutes to get there. So I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna train and not be on this knee because you're like full of adrenaline.
Yeah.
So I finished the class and I trained through that. And the next day I was in so much pain. But then I was like, whatever, okay, I'll heal. So I healed for 8 weeks. And then I went back because it said 6 weeks is how long it should take to heal. But I was like, I'm going to give it a little bit longer. And then I dislocated my knee again. But this time it was like an excruciating pain. Like it wasn't like the adrenaline did not help me at all. Like I'm just like in the fetal position and like it was awful. So I've taken a year off and like I had Niall was about a year, so like I was not like you. I ate everything in sight when I was breastfeeding. I put on so much weight. So I don't think that my joints got used to that.
Yeah. And that's like, I hear super common. You either go one way or the other. No one's ever like, I completely did nothing.
Yeah, no,
breastfeeding.
I blew up. So like I'm trying to get in shape, but like you're doing like a contact sport and like my just joints weren't ready for it. So taking a year off, I'll be back soon. But my knee's doing a lot better. It pops out of place sometimes, but like what are you gonna do?
You were like really good at it. You were competing.
Yeah, I think that I was good. So I did go back, like I said.
I felt like you were good too. I would watch like videos and I'm like, wow.
But I since having the baby, and not being able like it was my life for a long time. Like that's all I wanted to do. Like if I had free time, I would train
Yeah, you'd be
sometimes.
like, I'm gonna go train.
Yeah, I would do 2 a
I'm
days.
gonna get cut.
Yeah. So I would do 2 a day. So I would train in the morning, go home, eat, take a nap, and then I would go back at night, and then I would train like kickboxing, Muay Thai, and then do like 2 hours of jiu-jitsu, and then like maybe stay after because I liked the gym that I was at and the people that I was around.
Yeah.
And it was really
That's huge.
Yeah. So I felt very good while I was like in that routine, but going back since being a mom and I was still breastfeeding. So I can't, maybe I could stay for 2 hours, maybe, but then like my breast would get engorged and then.
Yeah. And then you can't think about anything else.
Yeah. I stayed for this like nogi class, which is like you're in a kimono and then nogi is where you only grip body parts. So I stayed for this nogi class and I'm a purple belt. So it's like a common thing that purple belts don't. Oh, wow. Purple belts don't want to do warm-ups. Like they
don't.
Yeah, they think that they're like too good. They don't need it. Yeah, but like
everyone should warm up.
Yeah, I don't feel that way. Like I loved warming up.
Yeah.
Because I thought that like
you're a different purple belt.
Yeah, how you practice is like all of this stuff is applicable. You know what I mean? So like I loved doing like shrimping and or just hip escaping because that's what I would do in my roles. But I hadn't breastfed, so my boobs were like gigantic and I'm having to wear like 2 sports bras and like nothing fits. Like nothing fits at all. So I'm just trying to keep them in. And the coach that was running that class was like, "Are you going to warm up?" And I was like, "Could I not warm up?" And then like he like called me out in front of the whole class and then he's like, "Oh, these purple belts and he's like pretty much trying to get me and I'm
you became like the face of the purple belt warm-up resistance.
Well, I just went up to him and I was like, "I'm breastfeeding and my breasts are engorged and they're really heavy and like they will hit me in the face." Like
nobody knows what to say that.
And he just looks at me and he's like, my wife did the same thing, and I think it's so great that you're here. You can just go sit down and you can join us whenever you're ready. And I was like, okay,
He's
great.
like, respect the titty hustle.
Yeah, for sure. But I was not that good going back. But Niles,
I mean, your first time at anything's not going to be that good. This podcast might be horrible. Who knows?
yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe, I don't know. But
Niall.
yeah, he's about to be 2, and then his dad loves. We're separated. He's an awesome dad though, and he loves having him. So his dad has agreed to like watch him while I go train. So I'm about to get more free time,
Yeah.
and
That's crazy. Yeah, that support is 100% necessary. I think something that doesn't maybe get talked about with that support is the mom guilt. Like when, like the same reason we asked to go to the bathroom or we asked to take a shower type of thing. Because we're like, oh, man, I'm going to miss out on 5 minutes or whatever, or the baby's going to be upset, or just like, I'm going to raise some cortisol levels for no reason. Cortisol is the stress hormone in humans, all of us. And I don't want to do that. And then his immune system is depleted. And that's how deep like my personal mom guilt gets. So that support is huge. Not only like our partner saying, do this, but I'll watch them and I'll make sure it's safe and do that. Both our babies are with their dads right now. Shout out to the dads.
What's up, baby daddies? And the baby's daddies? Or no, that's not how that goes.
I don't know if
it's an outcast.
I don't know if Tommy would shout out his dad.
Oh no. Brian likes his dad. I don't have a dad, y'all. So what's up?
I have
you the best dad in the
best
entire
dad.
world.
He will be everyone's dad if he needs to be, but not if he doesn't need to be. Don't call him if you don't have to. But I call him. I call you way too much, Dad. Thanks. I will get my car registration done. I promise.
Honestly, like I could just trauma dump for an hour. That's like where this is going.
We can get into that, but
let's not.
But I think I was gonna.
This is just how I am.
We should finish. Us meeting are about us. We kind of stopped at the bar showing of the jiu-jitsuing, and now we have your history of jiu-jitsu. I guess then what kind of like happened in our friendship? Did you leave first or did I leave?
I think you left
and did rave for a bit.
Yes.
And I was living in
Disneyland.
I was living in Disney World.
Wow.
Florida.
Wow.
Gators.
I've never been to like either one, so it's all the same to me.
No worries at all.
Uncultured.
No, dude. Like it's such a privilege to even go there once in your life. I don't legally know what I'm allowed to say without like Mickey Mouse coming for my ass, but
you were in Disney World.
Yes, I was. I worked in Disney World. I was a character performer, friends with Mickey himself, and that's probably why I'm so fearful of him. That was amazing. I was there for 9 months. So I left in 2019. What happened in 2020? COVID. So we couldn't hug anybody anymore. I was already on my way out. It was an internship. And I had to make the decision if I was going to do full time or not. And decided to come home. And I had one more semester of college left, I think. So I decided to come home, finish that out. Plus COVID, big bummer of a come home. But guess who was there for me? So I went
Can
back.
we say that?
I didn't know if I could say that. I figured if I could talk about Mickey Mouse, we could talk about.
Oh my God, the first and last name.
I love him. He's great.
Yeah, he is. Thank you, Bob, for everything you do for us.
I see you like twice a year, maybe. He's a behind the scenes guy. But that has always been there. And then you would pop back up, and we would have our personalities and life and all that stuff would like. It's cool. We've changed a lot, but we still didn't have kids at that point.
I was pregnant.
You were pregnant. You told me you were pregnant.
You were one of the first people.
Really, I felt like I was like the last for some reason.
No,
I don't know why.
Is he? Like,
yeah, whatever.
I told
You were probably like in the bathroom with him whenever you were peeing.
no, me and Brian were together, but like literally as soon as we separated,
Mhm.
like, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna go home. And he was like, okay. And I called Izzy on the way there. So Izzy knew within like the hour.
Our boys are
But you were
like perfectly 9 months apart, basically. I found out I was pregnant the November that Niall was born. So
he's a Sag.
he's a Sag, Scorpio. Sorry to whatever that means.
I love Scorpios. I love like all of the signs that are supposed to be like, I'm an Aries, but like I love strong people and like I'm not intimidated by strong people. So it doesn't bother me. You're fine.
Because you got that solid eye contact.
Yeah.
Like strong people are like, what is this? If anything. That's how I feel sometimes. But I don't know really anything about that. And I believe in God and all that stuff. So
Yes.
I don't know if
But
that's a thing.
You were the other than Izzy and Eden, and then Brian, obviously, you were the first friend that I told.
I'm learning that right now. So feeling it. That's cool. And it means so much. It does. And that's why I'm going to take a second to feel it.
Okay.
Because that is huge. And that's like, it's information that completely changed your life. And then 9 months later, I was, blessed to say the same thing.
And also, if you, just a little tidbit is, I was living in Humble at the time. So I was driving an hour to get to work and I just had that long hour drive. But I felt Niall kick for the first time.
In the car?
Yeah, same day.
I was in the car too.
Like, yeah. I told you
I was not in the same car as you, but
yeah,
I was in the car too. And I was like, what the heck?
But I felt him kick like a little bit after I told you. So
wow.
Mm-hmm.
He was like,
what's up?
Yeah. Or he was like, she's gonna have a baby too.
Mm-hmm. He knew. He was like, that's gonna be my bandmate mom.
Yeah, we hope they start a band, but no pressure, honestly. Right now, their hangouts are like Lennon watching Niall. Niall was like, the parkour king, but like Lennon's on his way there. Honestly, you just see those gears working, and I'm like, oh man. But they're 9 months apart, so right now they're not like the coolest of hangouts, but it's still pretty cool just to see like the difference, and it's coming. The craziness, the more craziness is coming. And I think they're close enough in age to be friends. I mean, think about 9 months. Tommy and I think we're perfectly 9 months apart.
How old are
I mean, people have age gaps all the time. I'm not actually stressing this, but right now it's crazy at this like such developmental age that 9 months is nuts. Victoria has a daughter 4 months old, or no, 4 months younger than Lennon to the day on the 14th. And just that 4 months of difference is crazy when they hang out. And I'm like, wow, it's really lightning. And like, then of course that mom guilt, it's up in there. He's like, wow, time is fleeting. And I'm like, I'm literally right here with him. I miss him so much. And then my heart's all over the place. But yeah. So then you became, you were pregnant. Then I was pregnant.
Yes, and you threw my baby shower and it was adorable. And you've thrown multiple birthdays for me. Just like, so.
I love planning parties.
You are great at it.
And my next venture in life, if I could do it, is party planning, some area of it. I've never planned a wedding. That sounds really intimidating. But like starting with small party coordinating and then going off, or just like if a friend is like, hey, can you help me put something together? I will put my heart in that 2-year-old's birthday party. I will go so hard.
Am I allowed to talk how I normally talk? Because I just like have been cussing like this and like,
right?
I have been. That's cool. I'm a mom. I'm an adult too. And I have a personality outside of being a mom. It's my favorite thing. And I would say that it's like at least 75% of my life, but like I have other things and I cuss a little, but yeah, like Sydney did all of this. And she's just been communicating with me through text or whenever we see each other at work, but all this she did.
I'm a micromanaging son of a bitch.
Whole pussy into this podcast.
I did, but also during nap time, we had a good nap time about a week ago. Like It was like 2 hours. And Tommy so graciously, he runs his own podcast called Tommy's World. Um, check it out. And he like really helped me streamline all of this and get it out. And I just kind of did the, creative girly stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm really thankful for that because the mental load I have, I feel like he can look at me sometimes and be like, she's not here. Like she's gone. But I really want to learn everything at the same time. But I feel like, does breastfeeding take like your
cells?
brain cells? I know it.
Yeah,
I know, like
for
I'll see
sure.
like these like not memes or just these like informative memes. I don't know. It's like breastfeeding takes up 90% of your brain, and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Operating a motor vehicle at times, if that's the case. I absolutely feel brain dead. So I can't thank him enough for like taking over a lot of that and getting us going. And watching one. I
Mhm.
mean, I think that just an hour a week to sit down and compartmentalize so many of my thoughts that I have, funny or not, or whatever, being able to feel something, talk about it is going to be huge for us. And I'm sure will nonetheless become relatable because so many moms are absolutely drowning in that first year and losing themselves. If you don't lose yourself in motherhood, like there's no trophy in how much you lose yourself. That's what I have to tell myself because I'll be like, oh, I didn't do enough or whatever.
I will look back at pictures and I breastfed. I was a stay-at-home mom for a year, and I feel like I did all made his food at first. Like this man eats, like I'm telling you,
Oh yeah.
he's a monster. So he's always hungry and he's so fit. Like this baby has abs and he's just
Yes.
that all he does is eat. So after a while I did abandon if you want some cookies, dude, that's I'm here for it. I
Yeah.
fully support you. But I'll look at pictures of me during that first year and I do not even recognize
I'm
who.
bald.
Yeah.
I'm literally bald.
I do not know who I was. And
Mm.
it was great. And I have the most awesome kid and I would not change anything about it. And I'm so happy I put so much thought into everything that I did. And eventually you are able to find yourself.
Yeah. This is a Chance the Rapper lyric. I'm a shadow of what I once was.
Mm-hmm.
And I refer to that so much. Or I mean, I'm a Chance the Rapper fan, but I'm not gonna rant and rave about him right now. But I'm just saying I'm a shadow of what I once was. And the same drugs.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do may your drug be whatever. It's a metaphor to we don't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not sad that we don't type of thing. It's growth.
Yeah.
And I look at those pictures too. They slap me in the face all the time. Your phone will just be like, hey, remember this? Remember when you were bald?
So I wasn't really sure how this was going to go. So as my little contribution, I wrote down a bunch of interview questions that
cool.
In case things went stale.
I was
just wing it. And it's going fine, I think. Unless we fucking suck. But anyways, one of the questions that I was going to ask you is, do you think that there's any part of yourself that you feel has just been completely put on the back burner since becoming a mom? And you are you plan to get back to it, but it's just so foreign to you right now. You don't even almost remember it.
Yeah. So what even got me my job at Disney was performing and auditioning and dancing and stuff. So I was big into dancing and all that competitively. I don't know, since I was 5 years old. I was dance moms, and that was such a part of me that it'll never not be a part of me. But I get these emails from the Met, and I used to take classes there, and I'll be like, oh, maybe at some point. And there was even a part postpartum when you're decluttering things, whenever you go through a little tornado of decluttering. I threw away my jazz shoes, and I'm like, dang, I think I should have kept them just to look at them to be like, That's who I once was. And I enjoyed it. Wasn't horrible at it. And it was physical. It kept me moving. It, kept my personality thriving. Confidence was great. I love watching my friend Sarah, almost once a week. She does these dance classes. And I did one with her once. And I just love that she's keeping that alive and, working out, all of that. I just love that she's keeping all of that alive for her. And she doesn't know she's keeping it alive in me too when I watch it. So I really appreciate that. But maybe that's something that like I'd like to go back to do. But I also had an emergency C-section, for those who don't know that. I can't even, like, it still feels like static when I touch my stomach. Don't like even looking at it half the time, which probably need a therapist for that. I went to physical therapy, but I probably need a different therapist for that. But I never did the whole scar tissue mobilization.
Mm-hmm.
I like avoided it like the plague. So I'm like starting to do it now, but I had to do some desensitization. Is that the word? Work before, because mentally my brain was telling me like, I'm on fire, stop touching yourself. And that's so real. I didn't know that was so real. So I think that like, oh, well, I can't do a lot of things physically because my brain's telling me it's hurting me. But I'll do like little moves here and there for Lennon or at work, like that guy had no business standing in the middle of this, pretty slow Friday night. And he sang My Girl to his wife on their anniversary. It was awesome. But I think I had more fun just dancing to
Mm-hmm.
it. And I was like, oh, that was fun, So
Barb's Dancing Queen. Yes. Love it.
that's another thing I feel like I completely forgot about. So yeah, we all used to go to
Mm-hmm.
Barbarella's in Houston, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all the days. And we hit our quick cardio there, got our beverages, and we had a good time. Honestly, the last like whole year that I went to Barb's, I never got alcohol once. I literally just went there to dance.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I completely forgot about that. I forgot that I liked cake
That's wild.
until like I was at work and they're like, "Oh, cake." And I was like, "Oh my gosh. I love that." So we do a lot of like large parties at work and people are allowed to bring their own cake, and then sometimes they so benevolently
Mm-hmm.
share this cake. And we're back there
We are
critiquing it.
we are some hard critics for sure.
We're like, this is dry. Why would you end your meal with this?
The colors, like why would you?
Dyes.
Yes, absolutely.
All of it. But
Frozen fruit.
I always try it. And you know what? I was like, I used to be the cake queen, the dancing queen, all those things. So yeah, in answering your question, dance and also enjoying food. Right now I'm like so on the go, like I don't sit down and eat anything. Lennon loves to like do this drive-by eating thing sometimes. If I can't get him to like eat in the high chair, I don't know how safe this is, and
What
I'm
a cool
sorry.
dude.
I'm
He's
sorry
so cool.
if this is not that safe. But once again, he's a bite-sized eating dude, so it's really controlled. And he runs in a circle, and he'll get his bite of food and run in a circle and get it. And that's basically how I have to eat too, because he is running in a circle so much.
Serving probably has conditioned you for that, so that's nice.
Yes, we do not sit down to eat.
Never.
But I also haven't had to work a double yet. You're slaying that. But I'm breastfeeding still. So that would literally be the worst. I do keep my hand pump on me. I will say that I never had to milk myself.
I did not work while I breastfed.
Yeah.
So I
did not have to do that.
No, not at all.
Just like you said, when your jiu-jitsu guy was like, "Oh, wow, that's really honorable," stuff like that. I feel like every time I ask to like pump at work, they're like, "Oh yeah, gosh, just don't tell me about it." Oh, geez. And it's like kind of uncomfortable, but kind of like they've been super accommodating also. So because that's something I was worried about. I mean, it's a fast-paced environment. They could easily be like, "Come back when you're done." We can't deal with that.
It's not like other serving jobs as well. It is
family owned.
Well, yeah, it's family owned, but like just how busy we get.
Oh,
Like,
it's aggressive.
yeah. And our clientele,
Expectations.
we're known for food and service. And like, if you are not up to par,
And the view.
and the view. Absolutely, yes. But yeah, no, can I tell the story about the cigarette that recently happened?
Yeah, I think. I don't know what my mom brain is just like.
Okay, so last week at work, you had to go pump, and your table was upset that another server had to check on them.
Yes.
So it's not that they're not being checked on; like they're being taken care of. They didn't need anything.
No.
But they were upset that they hadn't seen Sydney, and they made a jab. And they're like, "What is she doing? Did she go to the back to like? Did she need her smoke break?"
Yeah.
And the server
I'm like
who was checking on
my bra back. Like, okay.
yeah, the server that was checking on them was like, she's a mom and she's breastfeeding.
Yeah,
so
shout out Aubrey.
Yeah, she just had to do that really quick, but she'll be.
And I thought they wouldn't even notice a difference with me and Aubrey, but I guess they really needed me. All they wanted to do is like leave.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that was the first time a table's ever been mad at me for that. I guess I want to ask the same question to you.
How often do people get mad at me? Well, let me tell you.
No. Is there anything you feel like you've been completely lost in and you can't mentally get there? I know. I mean, you just went on a trip.
I just got back from Alaska, Canada, and Seattle.
Like once in a lifetime trip. I saw some of those pictures and I was just like,
beautiful, dude. Beautiful.
I just tried to like send my body there mentally.
And it like my baby daddy is awesome. Like loves being a dad. He did a great job. We call it our nickname for our son is Hammy. So he's like sending Hammy content your way. So I would just get like these little videos and pictures of him. And his grandma also had to step in, and he's just surrounded by so much love, dude. Like he is so loved and like so nurtured. But so that made it enjoyable. Like I didn't have a worry in my pretty little head that he was completely taken care of. Jiu-jitsu definitely on the back burner, but that's also because of an injury.
Yeah.
Something that I think our methods of like raising our babies are completely different. I'm not a helicopter mom.
Yeah.
All. Like
that's literally, I feel like why you're in that chair. This dynamic, I feel like we can learn. I feel I can learn a lot from you.
Oh, I feel like I learn stuff from you all the time.
You don't need to learn to be a neurotic mess.
But what I believe is that I'm not raising a good kid. I'm raising a future adult. So like and this is to circle back, I have awful ADHD and like it is what it is. Like if you've ever had a conversation with me, like I'll get back to it. But you were asking about body autonomy and teaching that to Niall.
Yeah.
There was a moment where he was taking a bath and he had like a little plastic spoon that came with his toys, and he had like all his bath toys, and he wanted to feed me bath water. So he's saying like eat, and he's just putting it like close to my mouth. And like as a mom, like if a baby hands you something to eat, like you want to be like, okay.
Yeah, because you're also trying to teach like healthy food relationship.
Yeah. But I thought about it and I was like, well, I don't want to. And like if I can't teach him boundaries myself, then how am I going to? And I have to teach him boundaries myself because that's how he's going to learn his own boundaries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
that's super hard for me.
So I just thought like, you know what? Like I just have to say no because I don't want to do it. Mommy doesn't want to drink the bathwater right now.
Yeah.
Like you caught me at a bad time, kid.
I'm full.
And then like of course they like want to try it for like a little bit, and then he kind of just like moves on. But I feel like I'm now getting back to my normal life, and breastfeeding, like I said, it was great. I have no regrets in doing it, but like it takes up all of you. Like I was saying like earlier, like I'm like 75%, I'm always a mom, but like my personality is 75% a mom. When you're breastfeeding, it is 100%. Maybe while you're at work, you can get it down to like 99. You know what I mean? And then you can have like 1 little percent to you. But I'm getting back to all of my normal life things. And of course things are different. Like because I have shit to lose. Like everything that I do for the rest of my life, like I have the
Yeah.
coolest kid in the world. But I need to do those things for myself because I need to be a mom that he's proud of.
Yeah.
Like you have never, I don't know, you think about like your friends and their moms that like that became their whole personality. And then once they turned 18, like their mom was just lost.
Yeah.
And then their mom would baby them. And now they don't have the best relationship with their mom because like their mom doesn't see them as like an equal.
Or that transition wasn't very smooth.
So I think it's very important to like do things for your own happiness because ultimately that gives you a better version of yourself to give to them.
Yeah, show your kids how to have friends,
Mhm.
how to maintain friends, relationships, stuff like that. And it's really hard whenever you are going through like such a transitional part of your life. You're like, mommy has friends, I swear.
Yeah, but our kids are like you were saying, like everything happens so fast, and our kids are almost a year apart, like a little bit less. But like a year ago, like I was a completely different person. Like I relate to everything that you're saying because like I've been there.
Yeah.
But like it does not always stay that way. So enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. And if I could make any mom feel like if I could have any other mom relate to me at all and just stand in solidarity and be like, yeah,
it's
like,
hard.
Like this is rough right now. You're going to do great. If I can make any mom feel more comfortable about her journey postpartum through this podcast, that would be huge. That's really my only goal here. I don't have anything to sell. I don't have anything like that. Just a story and some heart.
Yeah, and postpartum depression is a very real thing.
Yeah.
I researched. Luckily, I was high risk for it, so that's why I got put on antidepressants.
You said luckily?
No, luckily I didn't get postpartum depression.
Okay,
but
luckily I was high risk for it.
It's what makes me cool and edgy is that my brain's a little wacky.
Yeah, need that trauma in their life.
Yeah,
to tell a story.
How much time do we got left?
We can start wrapping up a few things.
Thanks for joining us.
No, not like right now, but like we're doing okay. Is there anything else? And wrapping up our story, I guess we're both now back at work.
Yes, we are both working moms.
Yes, we're now working moms. So I have
full-time moms.
Yes, I have a new title. That's a new title for me, working moms. I can't wait to sit down again and try to get our thoughts together. Mom brain is so funny. It's like laughable in its own sense. Can't wait to watch this back.
Luckily, this didn't need any type of organization. Like we were just, my bad. We just like kind of went into it, but we both love to research.
Yes.
So,
yeah, we're going to be getting into
cite some sources,
all kinds of topics,
and we have such different views on things.
Very different. So next time we can define crunchy to you and scrunchy to you. Was that what you would call it?
I don't know what scrunchy is.
Scrunchy is like sort of crunchy.
Sort of crunchy? Okay.
Yeah. I thought that wouldn't be so far off for you. But I'm
learning something new as well.
We're also going to talk about how much we hate being put in a box. As moms, women, expectations of all of that.
To do it.
Yeah,
there is no right way as long as your kid is taken care of, loved, nourished.
Yeah,
like you're doing great.
All good things. So thank you for being a part of our first episode of Mediocre at Breast. Y'all are all doing a great job, and we'll see you next week.